If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
If is the focus of today's unit in English 3, Unit 11, Part 1. What does that mean to you, Yonghi?
Professor Neil, if Rudyard Kipling were alive, he would be very happy to see our video.
I hope so.
That was very impressive.
I hope that was a good start to English 3, Unit 11, Part 1.
Woo! Hello, this is T.A. Younghee.
And this is us at the beginning of Unit 11 with, as usual, the starter. Thinking about dreams and if you won the lottery. Whoa, look at that.
Wow, she looked very happy.
Yeah, we're not surprised she won $230 million.
$231 million.
Oh, no, 231,000. But still, pretty good. So yes, the lottery. It's an if. If you won it. Not because you won it, but if you won it. If you won it. So imagine you won the lottery. Which things would and wouldn't you do? Fill in the blanks with the blanks. With would or wouldn't to show your thoughts. Compare your answers with a partner. So as we say, if I won the lottery. If is a condition. A condition that only happens in sentences.
In imagination.
Imagination. So you can say anything. What would you do if you won the lottery?
If.
If. So you can see here we have the question. In the book before, we didn't have the question, we just have the answers. So here we just have the answers. But to try and help you better understand this unit, we want to give you the question and then help you form the answer and understand the answer better. So one possible question is, what would you do? So do reverts to the action that you would do if you won the lottery. So the example in the book, what would you do if you won the lottery? The first one, I would donate some money to charity. Possibly people do. Because they've won so much money, they suddenly want to help the world.
Is that first thing you think of what you do?
No, but we're thinking that people might be generous. Some people will. This is just food for thought. Right?
This is just food for thought. That is very good quote.
Yes, I saw it the other day somewhere. But yeah, there are people who are not as well off as you, who want your help, and money helps.
Wow.
But it's an if you don't have the money now. But so maybe when you do get the money, you want to help people. Or you might want to do something for yourself.
Sounds more like it.
So you're more likely to say, I wouldn't donate money to charity. When I did this in class, most students said they'll donate $10. So they said they would donate something.
I'd rather just give that money to the people in need rather than charity, because some charity is not trustworthy.
Oh, good point, good point.
Like Oxfam in UK.
Yes, fair point, fair point. All right, so to continue, same question, but different answer, because there are options here. What would you do if you won the lottery? I say, I would take a trip around the world.
That sounds very tempting.
Yes, a lot of people want to travel if they have money.
Wow.
So they would go around the world.
Not in that wooden airplane though.
Why not? Be adventurous. You got money and time. Go and explore. But no, most people would want to travel in luxury. But don't forget, it's only $1 million. It could disappear very quickly, and a round the world trip is very expensive. So to see all these places in like Mexico, Brazil, India, Italy, London, America, Paris, Rome, New York would cost money, especially in that order.
They're all very expensive nations.
Yes. But to visit any nation costs money. So you would say, I would take a trip around the world. So think about these. I mean, we've got others. Buy the house of your dreams. Throw a party for your friends. Make safe financial investments. So don't invest in Bitcoin. But then again, why not? Go on a giant shopping spree, which means go and spend lots of money shopping. Start some expensive hobbies. What hobby would you start if you had lots of money? If you won the lottery?
If I won the lottery, what hobby?
What expensive hobby would you start?
I will start sailing.
Sailing, yeah, I would agree. Sailing would be a nice hobby to start if you had some extra money in your pocket. Good choice.
Or parachuting.
Yes, I thought, yeah. Okay, yeah, excellent. Or go-kart racing.
That would be great. F1.
Oh, Formula One. Yeah.
Formula One driving.
Okay, that's a bit see, exactly, dreaming, but then you realize $1 million.
I would. So
Yes.
that's why we use this model would.
Yes,
Because
would.
would is not necessarily you need to do it, just so you imagine it.
Yes, it's almost like a wish. It's almost like a wish. So when you're saying would, you're almost wishing something could come true. Make a wish upon a star. So here, dialogue 3:11. I wish I were rich.
I wish I were rich. I know the song. Is it the same grammar structure? I wish I could fly.
Yes, that's coming up in a later section. Just one thing here, Young. It says, I wish I were rich. Why not I wish I was rich?
Normally in if grammar, which is I wish, they use instead. No, you can say instead I wish. You can say if I were rich.
Yeah,
So
we're looking at that in the second conditional.
So using were because it's very unlikely happening. So for example, I wish I were a bird.
Well, it's almost adding future tense, oddly, with past tense.
But that person using were definitely think there will be no possibility of me becoming rich.
Yes, but the point is they're using were because they are not rich.
Yeah.
They're not rich, but they wish they were rich. So that's where it gets a little confusing here, and why we're going to look at the dialogue first. So first part of the dialogue, Yonghee and I are going to read the dialogue. And I'll read Isabel, and Yonghee, you read Lacey.
We have to be very careful with the pronunciation.
Yes. My work schedule is killing me. I never have any free time.
What would you do if you had more time?
If I had more time, I would certainly get more sleep. Then I might have energy to do some things I enjoy.
You need to work to pay your bills.
I know, but I feel exhausted. I wish I were rich. If I were rich, I could relax all day long.
Really? Wouldn't that get boring after a while?
I don't think so. What about you?
If I had enough money, I would do all sorts of interesting things. I would travel. I would start some hobbies. I would always stay busy.
Are you kidding? That's exactly what I don't want to do.
Different strokes for different folks.
Different strokes for different folks, meaning different people do different things.
Do we really have to speak like snobbish people?
Ah, wasn't that wonderful? Wonderful, yes. We were different folks for a bit.
We sounded so snob.
So snobby, so snobby.
Like British people.
Yes, so that was the listening. And you can see here there's a few examples of if. Lots of if. If you had more time. If I had more time.
That means basically,
If
at
I
the
were.
moment, I don't have any of those.
Ah, well, that's the question. Yes, so that means Isabel is busy. Right? She doesn't have much free time. Isabel is not rich. Lacey is not rich. But they dream of being rich. They dream of it. That is their dream. And they express this by using the if in their sentences. It's their dream. It's a condition. Right? The condition is something has to happen for something else to happen. And we're going to ask questions for you to see if you better understand what conditions they are talking about. And these questions, some of you will come up in the homework. What would Isabel do if she had more time?
She would certainly get more sleep. And then she might have energy to do some things she enjoys.
Yes, she enjoys. Okay. What would Isabel do if she was rich?
If she was rich, she could relax all day long.
Sounds nice. And lastly, about Lacey. What would Lacey do if she had enough money?
She would do all sorts of interesting things. She would travel, she would start some hobbies, and she would always keep herself busy.
Stay busy, yes, stay busy. But Isabel thinks that's a crazy idea because she says, "Are you kidding? What a crazy idea." Because that's not what she wants to do. But Lacey's like, well, different strokes for different folks. That's my choice, that's not your choice. One man's meat is another man's poison. Yes, that's one for you to look up to.
Today seems to be like lots of quotes.
Quotes and idioms. Oh yes, like if.
If I were Professor Neil, I would
Yeah, so would, could, might, should. So as it says, unreal. Unreal, meaning it's not going to happen. So we say there's if at the beginning, though these sentences can go in the other opposite direction. You could say, I would buy a sports car if I had lots of money. So these can swap.
That means I can't buy sports car because I don't have lots of money at the moment.
Unless I have lots of money, I can't buy a sports car. So there are different ways to say this. If I were a bird, I mean, this is impossible. You cannot be a bird. Right? I could fly away home. So again, they are dreams, fantasies, wishes, and we'll look at wish in a moment. And as pointed out here, the verb is in past tense. The modal is the past modal as well, which we learnt in the previous unit. Okay, take a look at those and practice them in the self-practice section. So here, after the modal, obviously, the verb is in its base form. So here it says V past, so these are in past tense. And here V is in base form. It's considered the main clause. So as you can see, there are two clauses. Clause. Now there are two clauses, two sentences joined together by a comma and an if. And they are condition. So, meaning, I can buy a sports car when I have lots of money. I can fly home when I become a bird. I can be an actress when I live in Los Angeles. I will not feel lonely if I do not live alone.
So basically, I would buy a sports car, I could fly away home. She might be an actress. I should feel awfully lonely. All these sentences having modal is a main clause, which is what you're feeling at the moment. While the sentences start with the if conjunctions is called condition clause. In Korean they say 조건절. 조건절.
I was going to ask if you could do a little Korean explanation.
So under this condition 조건, the main, your status feeling will be described, but because this if clause is just only conditional, right? So it's not real.
Conditional, unreal. So let's take a look at this on these sentences in a little more depth and give you the sort of questions that might be asked to give these answers. So let's look at the first one. What sort of question could you ask? What could you do if you were a bird? Alright. So we have the question here. Alright, second one. If I were a bird, I could fly home. So the question would be, what could you do if you were a bird? Let me just pause for that. Yonghee, as a cat, quite likes people being birds.
Yes.
But
Bird and mouse are those two of my favorite toys.
toys. Okay.
I like toying with them.
Yes.
That's why I don't want to be a bird.
Yes. But this is me. I am not a bird. I am a human. But if I was a bird, you see?
Ooh!
If I were a bird.
Meow!
If I were a bird.
Meow!
Okay, calm down. Alright, so there I am. I'm a bird. And they said, what could I do? What could I do? I could fly home. There we go. I could fly home.
Wow.
Alright, so I'm home. Alright, and once I'm at home, obviously I want to turn back into a human. Bit of magic there. So it's all magic. It's all fantasy.
Wow. Actually, Professor Neil, there's very, very popular web novel. It's called The Remarried Queen. In that story, there is a princess who later becoming king. He can change himself from bird and the man.
Is this a Korean one?
Yes.
What's the name?
Remarried Queen.
What's the Korean name?
Jaehon Hwangwoo. It's really popular among my friends.
And he was a princess?
She was the queen,
okay.
And she later met this amazingly handsome.
Okay. What's the name of this great story again?
Jaehon Hwangwoo. It's a great fun.
Great, I'll look it up. I'll show you after I finish
it's
the class.
It's really popular.
I will never search it. Sounds great. I'll take notes.
So this man, this king, later becoming king, he kept changing bird and human back and forth.
A bit like our little bird is changing into a human.
Yeah, that reminds me of the story.
Okay, well that's nice. that was the second sentence. Let's look at the first sentence here. Maybe bring up some more of Yonghee stories about Korean folk stories and comics. What would you do if you had lots of money? What would you do if you had lots of money? So it's, what would you do if I had lots of money? It says, I would buy
a sports car.
Yes.
Is it convertible?
It's convertible, yes. So the point is here, I don't have the money. I don't have the money, but if I did have the money, I would buy a sports car. It's a promise. Or it's
Lamborghini.
Yes.
Maserati.
But all these things are just possible outcomes if they were created, if situations in your life changed.
Professor Neil, what would you buy? What would you do if you have lots of money?
I would buy a house next to the sea and just look at the sunset or sunrise. Oh, it would be better if I could see both. Where could I see both sunset and sunrise?
Why don't you just buy entire island?
No, that all right. Buy an island in the Caribbean. Yes, great idea. Okay, well, wishes. So the other one is we've got here in the ground bit the other expressions, including second conditional. So once again, there's the verb there, and this one is using as if. He talks as if he knew everything. It's quite a difficult expression to use, as if.
If we need in Korean, because someone who always act as if, we call it then someone with as if disease.
We say someone with a big head. Big head.
Yeah, we call it 척병 환자.
So you might say Donald Trump talks as if he knew everything.
He always speaks as if he had lots of money.
Yeah, so it's new. So it means probably he doesn't know everything. Wish, well, wishes, hopefully you understand. I wish I was a famous singer. So it means I'm not a famous singer. I wish I was. Yes. And if it were not for, I can't believe the book has this, if it were not for the vaccine, many people would be sick. Yes, wow, this book predicted the future.
What future are you talking about?
That one the whole world has lived through for the past year and a half. Well, let's not talk about that. There we go, you see. But it still uses would. Would be. So let's just look at the first one. He talks to... What question would you ask? This is quite difficult. What question would someone ask you for you to give this answer? How does he talk? Is one example. What is he like? What is he like, or how does he talk? He talks as if... Oh, pause. Not I. As if he knew everything. Not I. I don't know everything. But he thinks he knows everything.
Professor Neil talks as if I knew everything about English grammar.
Yeah, more, as much as I know. If not more. Notice that word if. Right? If comes up a lot. So like here for wish, we're going to look at wish here. What do you wish? And obviously from our little character here.
It's an only friend.
Possibly, I wish that I were a famous singer. Meaning I'm not a famous singer now, but I wish that in the future I was a famous singer. Here we have were. Sometimes people use was. To be honest, you could say, I wish I was a famous singer. I wish I were a famous singer. Personally, I prefer was. I don't like this were thing. But it's a personal choice.
It's a history of English.
Yes, some people like it, some people hate it. Right? But that's grammar. It can cause controversies. Let's quickly look at speaking one, wishes. So we'll just go through these. So wishes. For example, she says she has 2 brothers, but she dreams of 2 sisters. So B would say, what do you have? I have 2 sisters. B would say, what would you wish? I wish I had 2 sisters. So she's dreaming of having 2 sisters. Oh, what was that? Let's just do that one more time. There we go. What do you have? I have 2 brothers. But what would you wish? I wish I had 2 sisters. She wishes she had 2 sisters, not 2 brothers.
I don't think that she understands the problem with having 2 sisters.
Yeah, just as bad. Who doesn't? Alright, so here he works in a factory. So what do you do? I work in a factory. What would you wish? I wish I worked in an office. Notice here it is past tense with worked. That's the important thing. Past tense on the worked. And so yeah, the questions could be, what do you make? Where do you live? What do you play? What do you know? And the question we have before, what do you have? What do you do? And these questions, as you saw, come up in the homework. Or you can do self-practice.
So main point here, if all these questions are in the present tense, however, if you rather than answering what you do, what you have now, if you want to wish, you have to use past tense.
Past tense. It said past tense. Good, well done. That's enough of...
Wow, we finished part 1 just like that.
Finished? Well, just like that. That was quite a long part. Yes, this is the end of English 3, part 1. Thank you from Professor Neil. Thank you for Yongyi. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.